Welcome to Satrin's Kitchen. Today we are making a creamy Cajun sauce, and we are going to use this sauce to meal prep 2 different meals. The first meal being a Cajun chicken with a side of potatoes and asparagus, followed by a stuffed pepper orzo pasta. All of the ingredients needed will be displayed on the screen throughout the video, so stay tuned and let's get started. First thing first, we are going to start off with the chicken. I will be using my air fryer to bake everything. However, if you do not own an air fryer, feel free to use your oven because it will do the same exact job. Though my chicken has been seasoning overnight in an épice marinade, which is also green seasoning, I am going to go ahead and add a little bit more spices and herbs. Feel free to season the chicken to your own liking. However, if you want to use the spices and herbs that I am using, they will all be listed on the screen. All right, we are all seasoned up, so I am gonna go ahead and pop my chicken in the air fryer and air fry it at 350 degrees for a total of 20 minutes, rotating the chicken to both sides. As my chicken bakes, I am gonna go ahead and boil my orzo pasta. To boil your pasta, add some water, some oil of choice, and some salt. I didn't have iodine salt, so I use sea salt. However, whatever salt you have, you could add to the water mixture and just bring that to a boil before adding in your pasta. So my water is boiling. I'm going to redirect my attention to begin preparation for my Cajun sauce. In a heated skillet, add in a tablespoon of butter, which we will be using to saute onions and peppers. So your butter is all melted up. Go ahead and throw in half of a sweet onion, followed by a whole orange bell pepper. Allow both to saute to a nice golden yellow color. So now that our onions and peppers are nice and golden, transfer it into a separate bowl and place that bowl to the side for later on. Using the same skillet, go ahead and add in a tablespoon of butter. I actually ended up using too much butter. I used 3 tablespoons. However, for this recipe, I would strongly recommend 1 tablespoon. Then throw in some minced garlic. I used about a tablespoon. Then allow your garlic to cook in the butter. On the side, keep an eye out on your water that's been boiling. Do not forget about it. So once your water comes to a boil, add in your orzo pasta. So your pasta's cooking to al dente. We're gonna return back to the Cajun sauce. Throw in about a teaspoon of garlic paste, and we are only using the paste to give the Cajun sauce a nice color. After your paste cooks down, throw in some chicken broth. Do not get the fat-free. I made a mistake and purchased the fat-free, so keep an eye out. You want to use just kind of like the regular kind. I am using 2 cups of the broth. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just throw some green onions in there. Instead of dicing my green onions, I'm just gonna leave it whole. It's gonna, infuse the same flavors. You could feel free to add more than 2. I was running low, so I just added 2. After the green onions are added, add in your heavy cream. I am using 1 cup. Then go ahead and add in some thyme. I am using dried. If you have fresh, that's even better, but dry will work as well. If you have Cajun spice, use the spice. I actually forgot to purchase Cajun spice even though I was making a Cajun sauce. So I am gonna be making my own Cajun spice at home. So I am using some oregano. And this also goes to say that even if you have the Cajun spice, add it, and also feel free to add these same spices that I'm adding as well. So after the oregano, I'll be using some black peppers, a little bit of Old Bay, not too much. Then I'm gonna stop right there with my spices. I'm gonna add in my Parmesan cheese before continuing to flavor and season my sauce, simply because Parmesan cheese has a high salt content, so I don't want to over salt my sauce. For the Parmesan cheese, I am adding in 1 cup. So my cheese is added in. I had a chance to taste my mixture just to kind of see what was missing, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue to flavor it with my spices. I added some chili powder, I added some paprika. I'm gonna continue now with some Italian seasoning. Garlic and then onion powder. Then I'm gonna go ahead and stop, mix everything in, and then taste to see what is missing. And as you could see, the butter that's floating on top, that's what I meant earlier on when I said I added too much butter. If you reduce the amount of butter that you added to about a tablespoon as recommended, you won't have that much butter floating up top. So, you know, a little spice was missing. I wanted to give it a kick. I am adding in some red pepper flakes. And surprise, we are gonna go ahead and throw in some meat. I am using a smoked beef sausage. After the sausage, we are now gonna add in the peppers and onions that were sauteed at the beginning of the video. Give everything a nice taste and continue to taste as you go along just to kind of see what's missing. For me, after I tasted the sauce, I decided that I wanted to season it a little bit more, so I am using some all-purpose seasoning. After the all-purpose seasoning was added, I was really happy with the way the sauce tasted. However, I did not like the consistency. So I am going to add in some cornstarch just to thicken the sauce. I am starting off with 1 teaspoon. Later on, I added another. So in total, I used 2 teaspoons to reach my desired consistency. And bam, now I have a bomb sauce that I'm going to use for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to incorporate this sauce into 2 different dishes. So sauce is made. Let's check on our chicken. All right, look at this beautiful color that the air fry gave the chicken. Anyways, after your chicken is done baking in your air fryer or oven, go ahead and transfer it to the skillet. And make sure to not let that good juice go to waste, so throw that in the skillet as well. After the broth boils down a bit, throw in your Cajun sauce and just let that simmer for about a minute or 2, and bam, you have some Cajun chicken. So your Cajun chicken is done. I am going to show you how to pair that with some potatoes and asparagus later on. But now we are going to retransition to another dish. We are going to make our stuffed pepper orzo pasta. So our pasta was drained. Now I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to the skillet and add in some Cajun sauce and just kind of give it a nice mix. So because I love the taste and flavor that garlic gives, I'm just gonna go ahead and add in some garlic paste. However, this step is not necessary. You could feel free to include it or not. And now our pasta is done. I am gonna go ahead and stuff some peppers with this pasta. However, if you don't want to create the stuffed peppers, feel free to have the pasta alone as a meal. So I'm gonna stuff some peppers with the orzo pasta I made. Start off by cutting the top of your peppers and then removing the core. So once your pepper is ready to be stuffed, go ahead and stuff it. I am using the orzo pasta that we just made. And once it's stuffed to my liking, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it in some aluminum and bake it in my air fryer for 5 to 6 minutes on 400 degrees. As your pepper bakes, let's go ahead and redirect our attention to prepare some homemade potatoes, which will be paired with our Cajun chicken. Dice your potatoes into small pieces and throw it in a Ziploc bag or bowl, whatever you have. Then add in your oil of choice. I will be using a sunflower and avocado oil, however olive or vegetable works. And then season your potatoes to your liking. I will be using a steak rub simply because I like the ingredients that are in the rub. After the steak rub, I am then gonna add in some garlic powder. And a little bit of oregano and Italian seasoning. Alright, give your potatoes a nice mix and then add it to some aluminum foil to bake. I am using the same aluminum foil that I bake my chicken simply because it has a little bit of the broth in there. So I'm throwing my potatoes in the foil and I'm going to go ahead and bake my potatoes at 350 degrees until it is cooked to my liking. Lastly, we're going to prepare some asparagus. I'm going to show you how I prepare my asparagus. I typically cut the ends off so that it fits in my air fryer. And then I sprinkle some garlic powder all over the asparagus, followed by some black peppers, and then butter. I usually use an herb butter that I have from Trader Joe's. However, if you don't have this herb butter, feel free to melt some butter with some minced garlic and just kind of drizzle it all over your asparagus. Lastly, top it off with some lemon juice. I love acidity, so the lemon juice gives it that nice acidity that I really enjoy. And then I'm gonna pop it in the air fryer for 2 minutes, and that is it. So we just made a creamy Cajun sauce that was incorporated into 2 dishes, which you could have for lunch or dinner, and honestly could be added to many other dishes. Personally, I will be adding my Cajun sauce to some grits for breakfast. However, feel free to be as creative as you want. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment below and like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.